Hi again, this is part 2 of our ratios video. So let's pull up our sheets here. Okay, as a reminder, we're looking at black diamond. So our next ratio is called average collection period. This is probably the easiest one to understand. This basically means, on average, how often does it take us, or how long does it take us to get our money after we've made the sale? So you can think of a few ways why there might be a delay in getting money. Perhaps we billed someone and they didn't give us the money then. Perhaps they paid with a credit card or a check and the money hasn't processed yet. So this is basically, on average, how long does it take us to get that money? So let's see. I'll write this in first. So how does it manage? How long does it after the sale? Okay. The formula for this is accounts receivable, which just basically means how much money people owe us divided by sales times 365. And 365 just helps us get it in a number of days. So again, you can guess we want this to go down. That doesn't, this is, like I said, the easiest one. We want to get our money quicker. So let's look at our friend black diamond here. Where'd you go? Here we are. Okay. So accounts receivable. So again, we're on excuse me, our balance sheet. This is at any given point in time. It's not over a period of time. It's at a given point in time. In this case, at year end, how much do people still owe us and they haven't paid? Okay. We're going to have total receivables net 40.37. So this equals 40.37 divided by our sales. Now sales is over a period of time. This is a flow. This is a video statement. We have a number of sales we don't put in our pockets. I'm going to flip over to the income statement here. Another word for sales, depending on type of company, is revenue. So revenue 203.04. 203.04 times 365. Okay. On average, it takes, in this case, roughly 72 days after a sale to get the money. So we can imagine that's actually quite high, as you might guess. Let's look at 2012 and see if they're doing any better. Accounts receivable, total receivable 31.58 divided by our sales. Okay, sales again on income statement 175.88 times 365. Okay, 65 days in 2012, so they were doing better in 2012. So you can see again on this ratio, black diamond not doing as well in 2013 as they were in 2012. So the key to this, kind of the next key to this, and I'm just going to freeze panes here so we keep that top row. Let's go back here. Sorry about this, just one moment. Okay. Okay, so what you need to start thinking is how you improve these numbers. We want this to go down. It went up, not good. So how would you get your money faster? Maybe you start requiring people to pay in cash. Maybe you were billing in a 90-day cycle. Maybe you reduce it to 60. So different ways to do that. And your key as a future manager is to think about ways to do that. Okay. Our next ratio is called fixed asset turnover, which you also just see abbreviated, not surprisingly, FAT. Okay. And FAT is, I always look these up, sales divided by fixed assets. Sales divided by fixed. Okay. What this is basically telling us is how effectively our fixed assets are generating sales. Okay, so if we have some big factory, is it effective at generating sales? We have a building that's just for our executives. Does that help us generate sales? So you might think logically about which direction you want this to go, but let's test it. So let's say we have sales of 10 and fixed assets of 5. I'm just making it up, so it's a 2, right? Sales divided by fixed assets, 2. You can guess when the sales go up, so let's take that number up, 15. Fixed assets, we really don't care up or down. It's a neutral thing. So let's leave that at 5. So ratio in this case goes from 2 to 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So we say we want this to go up. And you could have probably figured that out when I said it's how effectively your fixed assets are generating sales. Okay, so let's look at our friend Black Diamond, 2013. Sales, flow statement over a period of time, so income, and remember I told you it's also revenue, 203.04 divided by fixed assets. Okay, fixed assets you put in your pocket any given point in time. Stock statement on the balance sheet. And you'll notice here we get one that's slightly tricky, because if you look at this, you don't see fixed assets. You rarely see it by a category by its own. But we know that total assets is fixed plus current. We have total, and we have total assets here, and we have total current. So to get fixed, we can simply do a subtraction. Our total assets minus our current. So 321.42 minus our current 106.38. Okay, now so break it off. Okay, so we get 0.944. Let's look at 2012. Sales in 2012, flow statement, video over a period of time on the income statement, 175.88 divided by our fixed assets, which is just going to be our total, going back to the balance sheet. Total assets, where is it? 320.79 right there. Minus our total current right here, 104.54. Okay, 0.813. Okay, so here we see the Black Diamond is actually doing better in 2013. This is not uncommon. Companies sometimes do well on some ratios and not so well on the other. Again, your job as a manager is to decide what's important to your business and to improve where you can. So, you know, you could say a simple way is to improve on your sales, but it's really about how those assets are generating sales. So how effectively are you using your fixed assets? If you have an unnecessary building, it's probably not helping generating sales. So one way to improve this ratio would be to get rid of unnecessary fixed assets. Perhaps that's getting rid of underperforming stores, for example. Okay. Our next ratio is debt to assets. And this is just, this is also called a leverage ratio. I'm sorry, I'm clicking around too much. Okay. This is total debt or liabilities, same term, divided by total assets. Okay. So similar to our current ratio, this is where we're just using current liability and current assets. This is just using total. So it's again, we obviously want our total debt to be less than our total assets. So we want to be able to sell our assets and pay off our debt. So this is kind of similar to how easily current assets could pay off current liabilities. How easily total assets pay off total liabilities. Okay, so you might think this one we want to go up, our current. We also want this one to go up. Right? Okay, let's find it. Total debt. Total debt is at a given point in time. So that is on which one? Balance sheet, right? Stock snapshot. Total, this time I use debt. You sometimes see debt and liabilities. Income statements can be really tricky. And this is an accounting class, so we're not going to get too much into this, but I actually want you to use total liabilities for our purposes. Equals 74.17 divided by total assets, 321.42. Okay, 0.23, and once again, I put in the wrong category, wrong year, 2013. Let's look at 2012. Total liability 72.78. Divided by total liabilities. I'm sorry, divided by total assets. 320.79. Okay, 0.22, so a little bit up. Now, but you may notice that we switched the order. Total debt over total assets, where this is assets over liabilities. So we've actually reversed that order, which is another unfortunate thing about ratios that often happens. So again, let's just use our example of making up numbers. Call it total liabilities. We'll say it's 20. Total assets, we'll say, is 40. So that will give us a ratio of 0.5, right in half. Okay, we know we want our total liabilities to go down. Let's take it down to 10. Our assets are neutral, so let's leave that at 40. So now it goes down to 0.25. So we actually see, in contrast to the other one, we want this one to go down. So let's fix that. Okay, in our case it went up. So we're not doing so well on that. So maybe they have too many assets, maybe they have too much debt, but some way they need to fix that. Our final two are profitability ratios. And the first one is return on sales. Return on sales, the formula is net income, which is also profit. Same word. Net income divided by sales. What this is telling us is basically how much profit each sale generates. What's our profit margin? It's a profit margin. So again, you can kind of guess here. We want this to be higher. We want it to go up. We want it to move up. However, just a point about one ratio does not tell a whole picture. Some companies may have a very low return on sales and still be doing quite well. Walmart, for example, has a very low return on sales. They have a low profit margin. They make up for it in volume. They sell a ton, but it's a low profit margin. I'm just going to say what this means, profit margin. Okay. Let's look at our friend Black Diamond. Net income profit. We don't put profit in our pocket. It's over a period of time. It's a video. So it's going to be on the income statement flow. And we're going to see this one here, gross profit, 77.48 in 2013, divided by sales. Again, remember I said that's going to be also revenue, 203.04. 0.38 is our return on sales in 2013. In 2012, net income or profit, 67.26 divided by sales, 175.88. Okay, 0.38. Remarkably similar here. It went down a little bit in 2013, but not much difference there. But you might say the return on sales is 38%. That's the amount of profit they're making on sales. Return on fixed assets, very similar, but now is net income divided by fixed assets. So earlier we asked how effectively our fixed assets were being used to generate sales. Now we're asking how effectively our fixed assets are being used to generate profit. Oops. I lost my space, sorry. We're generating profit or net income. Okay, so again, you can pretty well guess we want that to go up. Okay, 2013 net income. And gross profit 77.48 divided by fixed assets. Fixed assets, snapshot at any given point in time, stock, put in our pocket. It's on the other statement, balance sheet. Fixed assets. And you may remember we don't see this quite so easily. We have total assets somewhere here. Total assets and total current. So we can find it by just subtracting total assets 321.42 right there minus current 106.38 there. Okay, 0.36. Let's see, 2012 net income on the income statement. It's a flow statement. Okay. Net income also has gross profit 67.26. And we're going to have to do a little math to get our fixed assets back to the balance sheet. Total assets 320.79 minus our current assets 104.54. 0.31. So this went up. So this was good. So our fixed assets are doing a nice job, an improved job in this case. We don't actually know if it's good or bad. It's just improved. It's the direction we're interested in here. An improved case of generating profit. So the key for you, and we're going to go through another example in another video, is to not only think about what direction you want these to go in, what they mean, but how do you improve them. And it really needs to be specific. Not we improve net income, we return our sales by improving our profit margin. Well, of course you do. How do you do that? Maybe you reduce expenses. How do you do that? Do you pay your employees less? Maybe you raise the prices on your products. That's going to increase your profit margins. It might reduce your volume, but it's going to increase your profit margin. So you really want to be thinking of those things. So that concludes this video. There's going to be another one that shows you how to easily pull this information online, and then a different way to go about this, which I think is a little easier. We're going to do that by watching Apple.